Hello people. So today I'm talking about why being in Huffington Post really isn't all it's cracked up to be. Now the question, honestly, that I am just always quite shocked, I guess, by like how many people ask me, like clients and people in my community, my Facebook group and stuff. How do I get onto Huffington Post? Oh my gosh, I get asked it every week, all the time. It used to surprise me, and now it's just like, oh, okay, really? Why do you want to be in Huffington Post? So I just thought it would be really interesting to address, and I'm going to be, I've got some quotes from some really cool people in business and I'm going to create a blog post with them and put them in there as well, because it's really interesting why people want to be in Huffington Post. They kind of see it as when we're thinking about raising our profile and stuff, and they think we think about where we want to get published. For some reason Huffington Post is always up there. It's not oh, I want to be in this magazine because that's where my ideal client is, or I want to go on this radio show or this podcast because that's what they're listening to. Like the people aren't even thinking about that. It's just Huffington Post for some reason. And from my own experience, I can actually say it's not always that easy to get onto as well. It's quite, the trick used to be that you kind of emailed, you know, Mrs. Ariana herself, and her, or let's be honest, like her team, would respond with the yes. If you were successful. And this has kind of changed recently because she's not working there anymore. So you have to like fill out a form or send it to a generic email address. And so it's actually quite a difficult process to get in, and yet people still really want it. People really want, it's like a stamp of approval for a lot of people. And yet from my experience, I've seen some not that great people on that either. So it has that, people think it is that authority, and yes, it's a fantastic website, it's great, but certainly in the journalist and the media world, obviously, like the circles that I run in, people kind of shy away from writing for them because they don't pay their writers. And obviously, you know, people like myself and journalists, like we make a living from writing. And the fact that Huffington Post are quite strict on, you know, not paying their writers and contributors, a lot of people do boycott it. So it's interesting for me to see the business side of it when all they want is to be featured in Huffington Post. So I see both sides. Like I myself am a contributor to the website. Like I have access to post anytime I want, anytime I like, and I don't. I posted once and my account is currently collecting e-dust, because I realised that it's not necessarily where my audience is. Like yes, it might look cool to have Huffington Post in your, you know, in your as seen in image, but that's not necessarily where I'm going to find new clients, so that's not really as important to me. Now, as with anything, anywhere you want to be published, it's really good to kind of think of the objective first. Like, why do you want to be there? Is it just to put the logo on your website and say I was featured in, or your as seen in image, as I say, or is it to actually because you know you're going to get new clients from it and, you know, grow your audience and things, or just because you've seen other people with it and that's the reason you want it? You know, there's no right or wrong reason for wanting to be in Huffington Post or anywhere that you want to be, but it's important to kind of keep that objective in mind, so when it does happen you can kind of make the most of it, and just, yeah, make the most out of the opportunity and get out of it what you had intended, you know, whatever your objection was. And I'm going to be putting together, like I said, putting together a blog post with some more information and a couple of quotes. I've got 3 quotes from some super cool business owners about why they want to be in Huffington Post as well, which I'm sure will sound a bit familiar to some of you. And if anybody else has any questions on this, maybe you want to be in Huffington Post and you're not quite sure why you shouldn't, or maybe you're not sure about it and you want to be on it, or anything, just comment below and I'll hop in and answer your questions. So that's it from now. Why being in Huffington Post isn't all it's cracked up to be. It is great. I'm not dissing the place, but I definitely think if consider if there's other places that you could perhaps spend your time writing an article for. You know, is there somewhere a little bit more worthwhile first? Not necessarily saying boycott it, but think about other places that you could be featured and other places where your audience is hanging out that you could get in front of that would be just as important and potentially more effective. And I will catch you again soon. Bye.